Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Brendan Plays. This is Total Extreme Wrestling for our All Elite Wrestling Save. Last week of May in 2022, we are coming off the Double or Nothing show, and if you didn't see it, well, here's the results. We had the big main event that bombed. We had the Blood and Guts match, 75 rated. Ethan Page, Paul White, CM Punk, and MJF was the best match on the card, 88 rated. FTR, House of Black, the third best with 82. The second best was Sammy and Park. In the ladder match, that got 84. And overall, yeah, not a bad show. The most memorable thing probably being Andrade winning the All-Atlantic Championship, the big tournament that we've had coming to a close. So it was good. It was definitely a good show. I definitely feel like we didn't perform as good as we could have. It kind of bombed a little bit because of the main event. Great buy rate and big attendance. 20,000 attended. We had the tickets at a premium price, so we charged everyone a lot of freaking money for it. So we made bank. We did. Now we need to continue moving on and building towards our next set of shows. So we've got the Fighter Fest, the Fights for the Fallens, those sort of minor pay-per-views coming up on the road to All Out. And that's kind of where we're at now. So obviously we're going to start building some new storylines. And we've got a few. We're going to continue with a couple that we need to finish off. That's, for example, Athena and Britt Baker. So we're going to be doing that on Dynamite. We're going to shift the Blood and Guts situation and shift that to Danielson and Omega. And that's the plan, one-on-one for a championship match. Would have liked to probably had that at All Out, but as it's so happens to be, All Out's pretty far away now. So we'll have to probably do that on one of the minor shows. I'm thinking of maybe rebranding, maybe Fight for the Fallen or Fighter Fest, one of those two, rebranding it for something different. And maybe having a bit more of an important event in the middle of All Out and Double or Nothing, rather than two crappy minor events. Maybe we just do one better event. In saying that, those two pay-per-views haven't been treated poorly in our save, but in real life, they're not even pay-per-views or even special at all. Divinity and TJ, so we're going to continue that. We were going to do the tag title match on the pay-per-view. It didn't make the cut, so we'll be doing it on Dynamite. FTR, House of Black. Well, FTR, that's the other thing that happened. Of course, they won the tag team title, so they're the new tag team champions. So there will be a rematch, I'm sure. We're going to transition over to Keith Lee and Lance Archer. That's the plan, but I'm also a little bit hesitant about doing that because I'm not going to take the belt from Keith Lee, not a chance. But also, I don't know if I want Lance Archer losing to Keith Lee just yet, considering that the Christian Coalition is just starting to kick off a little bit. So we may revisit that. We are thinking about turning Proud and Powerful to being baby faces, and if that's the case, Lucha Bros will be their opponents. Ricky Starks, Orange Cassidy, we're going to finish that off here on an episode of Dynamite with a match. Same with Superbad and Thunderstorm, we'll finish that storyline off. And then we're going to find out the next contender. So whilst we are going to have Danielson and Omega in the background, we're still going to be looking for our next contender. I'm thinking of a way just to kind of utilize our top stars. Adam Page is coming off a big win over Jericho. CM Punk beat MJF. Miro had a dominant All-Atlantic tournament. And Sammy Guevara, he had a big win over Park as well. So I'm kind of thinking of throwing all four of them in, having a four-way match, and crowning the next contender out of that. So it does leave us with a lot of guys doing nothing at this stage. So if you look at our top stars, well, then you've got the Young Bucks, they're not doing anything. Same with Adam Cole. So the Elite are kind of available. Majority of the rest of the Blackpool Combat Club are available, like Moxley, for example, Claudio. So there's room to maybe do something there. But yeah, so we've got a lot of people that potentially opened up to do something. Christian Cage is another one. His group, they're pretty available. We need to find an opponent for Andrade, who's the new All-Atlantic champion. So there's still a few storyline gaps that we need to fill, but at the moment, that's where we're at. Now, considering that, a lot of stuff needs to be wrapped up from Double or Nothing that we didn't get time to. So that's what the majority of this show for this week will be dedicated to. So this is almost a continuation of Double or Nothing. All the stuff that wasn't good enough to make the card is good enough to make this week's episode of Dynamite. So let's jump into it, shall we? So here we go, this week's Dynamite. And we open it up with Danielson calling out Kenny Omega for a world title shot. And Don Callis comes out and says, look, please, Kenny Omega just went through blood and guts. He's hurting, he's banged up, he's battered, he's bruised. please have some mercy for Kenny and let's not do the title match yet. So, Callis trying to reason with Bryan Danielson. So we obviously had Callis talking a lot in this promo with Danielson, and that probably brought the segment down a little bit, but still 85. You can't complain with that, so it does advance the story. Alright, the Women's Tag Team Championship match follows it up. It's TJ and the Divinity, 51 rated, and of course, as the plan was, Divinity does secure the win, and they finally end the Tag Team Championship reign of TJ, so it's been a pretty long one. Now, the original plan was to have this as like a 5 to 6 minute squash match on pay-per-view, but now that we had more time available to Dynamite, I figured let's give it a little bit more length because of the fact that TJ have been such good champions. Let's be honest, they've been really good champions. They've got themselves from being, 30 popularity to NJ's like 45 pop, so they have done really well together. And I feel like they've really built something quite decent in the women's tag division. So I didn't want them to go out as chumps. I didn't want them just to get squashed and kind of ruin their momentum. A 12-minute match, it's competitive, but still short enough to kind of put over the fact that Divinity are pretty dominant. And so the team of Nyla Rose, Mercedes Martinez wins the belts, and now we start the journey of having Divinity as the most dominant team in the division. So we'll see how they go. I feel like it's going to work. Got Madison Rayne, she's available. We might be using her as, I guess, loosely as an affiliate or associate or even a manager to Divinity now that she's in a bit of a position of power. So we'll start exploring that in the future for Divinity. And obviously we got Thunderstorm as another top babyface team, Shining Force, and we could always do the rematch with TJ. So there's a few more teams for Divinity to come up against as well. Unfortunately for the division, the best teams in the division right now are probably all heels other than TJ. So that's where we may go wrong having a heel tag team champion. But the thing about it is TJ's beaten everyone already, so we do need to do something a little bit different. Post-match, Divinity continue to beat down TJ and celebrate their win. So really just putting them over, just beating them down. Marina Shafir comes out, she joins in, and it's a 3-on-2 attack as they continue to celebrate their title win. Alright, Tony Schiavone is backstage, Ricky Starks and Orange Cassidy, and they both provide their last comments before their upcoming match. So 69 rated there. So Schiavone kind of mediating a conversation there before their match. And their match was a 71 rated. Orange Cassidy, 70 rated match. Really, really good performance from him. And Ricky Starks, 62, which is pretty good as well. We had the FTW title on the line, and Ricky Starks secured the win. 18 minutes we were able to give this, so really gave these two guys as much time as they needed to put on a great performance, and I feel like they delivered. That's a really solid mid-card match. 71, you'd definitely be taking that. Obviously Cassidy, he's got a lot more he can do. I'm just not a huge fan of him. It's hard to take him seriously as a legit sort of title contender, but you can't deny the fact that his performances are always solid. If we do a trios, championship, which we are of course planning, I think Best Friends as a trio could definitely be a nice little threat. I definitely feel like that could kind of be where they find their footing, whereas Ricky Starks as a singles is definitely his future. Next up, Christian Cage celebrates Andrade's big win, and he does welcome a new addition to the coalition. So Andrade won the All-Atlantic Championship. Christian Cage and Lance Archer out there celebrating, high-fiving. How great is it to have gold in the group? But they say it's even better to add more members to the group, and we add Private Party to the group. Now I know what you're thinking. This feels like the Hardy Family Office sort of esque. And you're right, I can see the comparisons, and I feel like that's true, but this is the Hardy Family Office if they had someone who's actually good in there. Like Andrade, we know he's good, and we know Lance Archer's good, but they're the whole premise of the Christian Coalition, this reboot of the group, people who are unappreciated and underutilized coming together to form one group where they can, become appreciated. That's the whole point of the group. You've got 5 guys all right there in one group who are very undervalued and appreciated throughout their entire career. So I feel like it's a good fit. And look, Private Party doing nothing, so why not throw them in here? We even had them talking in this segment to try and boost their promo skills. They were not good. Their talking in this promo, in this segment, was terrible. But, it's a learning experience, right? So, yeah. But anyways, the heel turn, let's turn him heel. It's a success, and it's a success for both members of Private Party. So let's hope that this gets them from being the bottom of the barrel to something different, something good. And I think they really need a lot of fresh matchups. I think that's the Private Party's issue. They've been beaten by most of the top heel teams, so now they can get beaten by most of the babyface teams. No, I kid, but hopefully we can do something a little bit more and get them from that 40 sort of popularity area to 55 to 60 even would be amazing. Speaking of Lance Archer, he's got a match here against Yuji Nagata. So we've been talking about bringing in some guys from some one-off matches. Well, Nagata's one of them. And he gets beaten in about 8 minutes by Lance. 66 rated match. Lance Archer was good, 75, very, very good. And Nagata, 33, about what you expect from a 50-something-year-old. Not much, but yeah. Nice little solid win for Lance just to put him over. MJF's in the locker room and he is sounding off. He is pissed off at the rest of the Pinnacle because they weren't there to help him against CM Punk at the pay-per-view. So everyone in the Pinnacle's talking in this segment, so we're trying to boost up everyone here, including even Sean Spears. But obviously, yeah, we're here with MJF. He's saying, look, you guys all went out to the casino just before my match with Punk. I could have used some help. Where were you guys? I needed help. It was a Las Vegas death match. You guys weren't there to help me. What's the deal? So he's not happy. 72 for that one. Adam Page has got a match with Jake Hager, 76. And what's the deal? Adam Page has gone from being, performing at 71, 75. That's kind of been where he's at when he ever teamed with Jericho and when he versed Chris Jericho. It wasn't good. And now he pulls off an 87. He's got great chemistry with Jake Hager, and they have a 76 rated match. Like, really? You've gone from being the shits with Jericho to having a great match with Jake Hager, of all people? Alright, 76 there. So Adam Page gets another win. As you know, we're going to look to put him in that fatal 4-way title hunt sort of situation, so building him up even further. Adam Page says his confidence is back and he's ready to take on more. So the whole premise with Jericho and Page was that Adam Page has kind of had some losses. He's been a little bit down. Jericho is going to try and take him under his wing to get him back to the top. Well, Adam Page beat Jericho. He feels like he's ready to go back to the top. 79 for that one. Proud and Powerful defeat the Seidels. 62 rated there. Santana 72. Ortiz 75. There is definitely plenty there. So we are preparing, getting Proud and Powerful on TV a bit more, and getting ready for a potential turn. And in the backstage locker room, they get into a bit of a confrontation with the Lucha Bros. So Lucha Bros and Proud and Powerful just kind of meet backstage and, tease a potential match between the two. Alright, our main event with CM Punk, and we mentioned earlier, bringing in some guys, some one-offs. Well, how about Ishii? He comes in for a one-off match, and he has a 68 performance. CM Punk was good, 77, maybe not as good as he could have been. 15 minutes, Punk with a pretty comfortable win, 79 rated match. Yeah, that's pretty good. I'll take that. So this was good because we've got someone that CM Punk can work with. Some people might be interested in this match, even consider it might be even a dream match for some. Not for me, but for me, it's someone who CM Punk can beat, have a good match with, that's not one of our top guys. So it kind of works out well. We don't give anything away. 79 rated. We get away with a really good match. And after the match, CM Punk gets on the mic. He says, look, he wants a title shot. He's ready for a championship match now. He's done with MJF. And then you got Miro, you got Adam Page, you got Sammy Guevara, all out there as well, basically saying, hey, I want a title shot too. So we kind of have a bit of a four-way stare down as we get ready for what's going to happen in the future of Dynamite. We're going to have these four guys meet, one-on-one matches, maybe a four-way, something like that, to determine the next number one contender. So 83 for that one. It gives us a 78 overall show. Not a bad follow-up from Double or Nothing, considering we didn't really start off with a hot angle or anything like that. You know, we kind of did with, I guess, Danielson and Omega a little bit, but this is really sort of like a, you know, we need a week or two just to kind of catch our breath from Double or Nothing and reset, restart, and get ourselves ready for the road to the next pay-per-view. Now on to this week's edition of Dark. And the team that just turned heel, of course, Private Party, the newest members of the Coalition, they team up to take on SCU in a 68 rated match. This is why we wanted to do something with Private Party. 69 from Cassidy, 57 from Quinn. These guys can go. Christian Cage also did some good work ringside as well to potentially help lift up this match to 68. It had no business being that good, so I'll take that. 13 minutes, Private Party grabbed the win. Next up, Paul White addresses his loss to Ethan Page of the pay-per-view, 73 for the promo. Good stuff. You know, look, Paul White obviously put over Ethan Page, did the honors, did the right thing. Ethan Page, you know, probably needs a bit of a push beyond this, and I was definitely thinking about giving him a TNT title shot with Keith Lee. I just thought that might be a bit of a downgrade for Keith Lee to take on someone who's taken, you know, basically 7 or 8 losses in a row, then to all of a sudden get a title shot wouldn't quite make sense, but we'll certainly keep Ethan Page in the mix of something. The Wingman attempt to recruit the Hardys to their group, 42 rated. Just a reason to put the Hardys on the show. They haven't done anything for a while. I figured they might get angry if they haven't made an appearance for a bit. But yeah, also just like basically a little comedy skit, I suppose. You know, the Hardys considering it for a second and then shutting it down, the Wingman getting upset. Because let's not forget, the Wingman have lost their leader, Peter Avalon. He's gone, he's out injured, so they need a replacement for him. And they thought, hey, the Hardys and the Wingman combining, what a group that would be. Hikaru Shida defeated Kira Hogan in a 57 rated match. Wow. Shida 59, Kira Hogan 45, that's pretty good from her. Not an eye candy match either, by the way, so that's a really solid match. Shida's someone that we have criminally underutilized. I just don't know. I don't want to give her the belt because I don't see her as, you know, our top woman in the division, but she certainly wrestles like one. And she's already had so many matches with Jade Cargill anyways. Her tag team partner, Yuka Sakazaki, just doesn't have the popularity for the Shining Force team to be any good. So maybe we just try and have Shida carry the team and get that team over and make that our number 2, potentially number 1 babyface women's tag team. That's probably got to be the plan at some point. So testing the waters here to see what we have with Shida. There's plenty to work with. Eddie Kingston talks about the toll of blood and guts on his body. 67 rated for that one, so solid Eddie Kingston promo. Matt Lee was beaten by Powerhouse Hobbs in a 61 rated match. Powerhouse Hobbs 71, Matt Lee 37, so just a quick easy win for Hobbs. I think it's got to be soon where Hobbs is in the title hunt. You know, he's kind of plowing through everybody. He's beating a lot of the lower card guys. I think he needs something a little bit more. I wouldn't mind a situation where, you know, it's hard because I guess the champion's Kenny Omega, but I would love to see like a Will Hobbs get a world title shot. Just have a really short mini program for the world title. I think that would be fun, or at least a major title. The other title, of course, being TNT. You could do it, but, you know, Keith Lee's a champion. Bayface versus Bayface wouldn't do it, but yeah, I just feel like there's more we could do with Will Hobbs at a bigger level. Or maybe even an upset win over someone like a top heel, you know, maybe gets a fluke win over them, could really put him on the map. Madison Rayne is out there congratulating Divinity and says that they are the best choice for being tag team champions right now. So Madison Rayne, she's, you know, in charge of the women's division now. So she's calling the shots. Sting delegated that to her. And now, you know, she's kind of saying, hey, look, these guys are the right choice for being women's tag champs. They are the best team right now. Just starting that early affiliation with Divinity here, 48 rated. Swerve Strickland defeats Brandon Cutler in a 68 rated match. Brandon Cutler, 49. Wow, that is pretty good. I mean, it was a squash match. Not really, but it was a quicker match, so it probably benefited both guys. Swerve 76 was really good too. But wanted to give Swerve a win after losing to Keith Lee. Just get him something, yeah. Just get him back, get the momentum rolling again. Jim Ross sits down with Britt Baker and Athena ahead of their match on Dynamite next week. So this was meant to happen on Dynamite that we just had, but I didn't find time for it, so we'll do it next week. I was thinking Rampage, but I feel like, it's less risky to have it on Dynamite, and it might even get more time as well, so we could have a better quality match. And JR, utilizing him as a sit-down interview host, I really think they should do that with him more. I feel like him sitting down doing his interviews was good. It adds value, especially if they give it more than 2 minutes of airtime, So 57 for that one, and that should elevate the story a little bit. Main event was Keith Lee and Scorpio Sky for the TNT title. I thought Keith Lee should follow up after a great TNT title match at the pay-per-view. Give him another one here, make this episode of Dark feel a little bit more special. And it was really good. 78, Keith Lee, 86 rated. That is why he's champion right now. He is crushing it. Really, really good. So we decided to change gears. I was going to have Keith Lee and Lance Archer. We mentioned it earlier. Is it the right time for Lance Archer to be taking a loss considering he's in this new group? I didn't think so. So we shifted gears and we've gone to Ricky Starks. So Ricky Starks coming off a big win over Orange Cassidy. He's a good heel, up mid-carder, someone who probably deserves a title shot. In reality, he's probably the number one contender or highly ranked. So I figured, let's go Keith Lee and Ricky Starks. This match could really help elevate Ricky Starks whilst also continuing the great title reign of Keith Lee so far. 79 rated for the teaser as Ricky Starks cuts a promo on Keith Lee and challenges him to a title match. So good start. Yeah, really good start to the storyline. It gives us a 73 rated edition of Dark. And now for Rampage, we got Fuego and Jake Hager on the pre-show, just a way for Jake to pick up an easy win. We open up the main show this week though with Sting, and he's going to introduce the brand new Trios Championship to AEW. Not sure how we're going to crown it. I don't really want to do a big long-winded tournament again. We've just done one. Maybe we just kind of do some matches, figure out who's the best two trios, and they just have a match at the pay-per-view rather than doing a, elimination style tournament. Which, we could do that, but look, I feel like just who's the best two? Let's do some matches, do a number one contendership sort of thing. And, the best two teams, maybe you do, 2 matches. The 2 winners meet each other at the pay-per-view rather than doing a lot of matches because I just don't want to do another tournament. But anyway, Sting did a really good job introducing it for 85. Good solid promo. Rey Fenix and Ortiz went one-on-one. So these two had their confrontation on Dynamite. We led to a match here, 74 rated. Now this could have been a lot better, but obviously we still have Proud and Powerful as heels. So they haven't done the turn yet. So we're getting there. And in the end, it was Rey Fenix picking up the win thanks to Penta's involvement. So Penta came along, screwed over Ortiz in this match. So I feel like the way we'll do it is they just continue to lose by hook or by crook because, other teams continue to screw them over. They're just not having any luck. And eventually the crowd kind of starts to support them. They're tired of losing. They want to make a change. They want something different. Something needs to change. And, maybe they'll start embracing the audience a bit more. So we won't do the turn yet. We've done it for 3 segments, so probably maybe a couple more and they might be ready to go. Malachi Black and Darby Allin talk about their loss to FTR, 71 for the promo. Obviously 2 guys that aren't great at promos in my opinion. Malachi's okay, but certainly not Darby, but still 71 promo solid as we kind of rebound from their loss. Now, we've done a trios match here, 61 rated in the end, between the Best Friends and the Butcher and Blade. They found a partner for the night and Helico. So we're kind of seeing, okay, is Best Friends a team that's worthy of kind of being in the mix for the trios championship? And we had a 55, 54, 67. So I would say, yeah, on the lower end of things, they're not too bad. So they might be one of the top 4 teams to kind of be in it. And maybe we'll need to kind of look at who are our trios, who can be in this tournament, who can be in the mix, and what's our division, because I suppose it's easier to kind of identify your tag team division, but your trios, well, you need to add that extra guy. Who are our trios? That's probably what I need to find out. And at the moment, I don't think Angelico, Butcher, and Blade will be one, but there could be a nice little makeshift team to kind of take some losses as we build to who the guys will be in this tournament. Samoa Joe talks about his future in AEW, 81 rated promo. That's good. I wish his match performances were 81 because I'm really fed up with Samoa Joe. I don't know what to do with him. I kind of feel like I need to throw him in a trio or in a tag team or be a manager or be in a stable. I don't know, because he on his own just ain't cutting it. I don't know, because as a solo, on paper, having Samoa Joe in your main event is awesome, huge. That's money. But in reality, he's struggling. So I don't know. I wanted to see how his promo would go here. What is his future? I don't know. I wish he would tell me what his future is in AEW, because I don't know. But we're going to try and find out what to do with him. But nonetheless, he can still talk. There's no doubt about that. Our main event was Sammy Guevara and Buddy Matthews. So they met in the tournament. We decided to do it again here. I just needed a really solid match to close out the card. I wanted to give Sammy Guevara a win. He beat Park. I wanted to give him another one, just to really emphasize the fact that he deserves to be in the mix for the championship. And he had an 83 performance, 81 match, definitely deserves to be there, and he picks up a win. Post-match, this one didn't quite execute as well as perhaps I would have liked. 73 it was. But we had Miro, he came out. So in the match before, we had CM Punk and commentary. Adam Page and Miro were all kind of watching, around, ringside or on the monitor or whatever. They're all kind of about. So you knew they were around and watching. So Miro, he decides to come in the ring and lay out Sammy Guevara. So obviously some recent history with them being in the Atlantic tournament. Adam Page, he didn't like what he was seeing. He decides to come in and help, but he failed because Miro, he's coming off a loss to Andrade. So I really wanted to emphasize that Miro's still the man. Miro's still the top dog. He's still tough as nails. So he takes out Adam Page too. And CM Punk on commentary, he gets off the desk. He's going to come down the aisle, but decides, look, I'm going to be a bit smarter here. I'm going to live to fight another day. I'm just coming off a tough match with MJF. He's still got, battle scars on his forehead from, being busted open in that match. He's banged up. He's not 100%. He knows it ain't smart to even attempt to fight Miro. It's not even a good idea when he's 100%. So he decides just to apologize to Page and Guevara. This ain't my fight. I'm going to fight another day. So 73 for that one. So it does give us a 75 rated show. It loses its popularity. We need 76 is our minimum to continue to grow. We didn't quite get there, but nonetheless, a solid edition of Rampage. Alright, let's take a look at the news. Of course, we've got the Rampage and Dynamite's ratings. Rampage, 953,000 viewers, which is good to see. Scott Parker, he's gone from tone to muscular. So, of course, one member of 2.0. What else? Dynamite, just over 1 million viewers, just touching there. Shaquille O'Neal has retired, what a shame. And Paige Van Zandt, well, we talked about potentially bringing her in for a bit of a run. Well, she's taking an MMA fight, so she will be unavailable in 2 months' time. So if we want to use her, we need to do it now because she's not going to be around. So I think we might nearly do that. I think we might nearly bring her in, maybe do we could do the Men of the Year. She can join up with them and have some sort of, 6-person match. Might be worth maybe investing in, looking at. So, yeah. Now, the other thing we mentioned before is a trio's sort of who are our teams. Now, I had a quick look at the roster, and here's what we got. So I kind of divided it in sort of main event, upper mid card, those sort of levels. So the main event, obviously you got Undisputed Elite, you have the Elite, the Pinnacle, the Blackpool Combat Club. So 4 top groups at the moment where you can make trios in amongst those groups easy. A little bit further down, and not too much further for the Christian Coalition, they could arguably be main event level. You got Andrade, Archer, Christian. That trio is definitely upper mid to main event, probably more on the main event sort of scale. If you put Private Party in there, it brings it down a little bit, hence why I put it in upper mid. House of Black is similar, Malachi and Darby, probably main event nearly together, but you'd have to add in Brody or Buddy to the group, brings it down a bit. Death Triangle, similar. Park, main event guy, but Penta and Rey Fenix more on the upper mid-card level. So you look at that, That's 7 pretty freaking good trios right there that you can make combinations of. The issue is that, you've got Pinnacle, the Bucks, the Pinnacle and the Elite, and probably the Blackpool Combat Club. Those trios won't be available all the time. They're usually going to be involved in single sort of stuff. So you take those 3 teams away, all of a sudden it's a little bit thinner. That's when we need to look at probably looking at Best Friends. They're probably the only genuine mid-card team we've got. A little bit further down the card, you've got the Dark Order. You can make some sort of trio out of them. Same with the Wingman. Same with 2.0. Now, there's a few other teams we could create by adding one more. So you got the Acclaimed. You give them a partner. Team Taz has got 2 in the group at the moment. We've got Starks, we've got Tony Nese, you give them one more. Butcher and Blade, you give them another one, like we did with Angelico. And Jurassic Express, they're not really doing a lot. They could use another partner and make them a trio as well. There's probably a few more instances where we could maybe do that, or we could just throw 3 guys together and just make a trio. But that's kind of where we're at with that. There's obviously, a pretty good division here. I feel like there's enough trios to make it work. So we've got 7, 8, 11 genuine trio teams at the moment, and we could probably make a couple more. Majority of it is just our tag division, adding 1 or 2 more guys, but I feel like there's something there. We can kind of work with that. There's a few guys, as we mentioned earlier on, like Samoa Joe. He's someone that you could definitely throw into a group and make them better. I could even see Samoa Joe with a Santana and Ortiz, kind of, maybe even Eddie Kingston could go to them as well. But, something like that where Joe's kind of thrown together with some other, tough, badass sort of kind of guys. That could really make something there. And that's just an example. So I feel like we could definitely add a few more if we wanted to. But those are the major players at the moment in this situation. The last thing I want to mention as well, we talked about potentially changing one of the events. Well, I looked at the calendar, and All Out is going to be in September. It's currently May, last week of May. There's a lot of time, so I feel like we need to have 2 sort of shows in between. I've decided to scrap Fighter Fest and replace it with Road Rager. And Fight for the Fallen, at the moment, I'll keep it. At the moment. I don't think there's another name that I kind of like to kind of be a replacement. So we'll keep it at the moment. But definitely Road Rager. Even if it's not, look, at the end of the day, it's not going to be anything different to Fighter Fest, but it's just a different name, so different flavor, something a little bit different, because we've done Fighter Fest 3 times already in AEW's history. So we do Road Rage just to spice it up a little bit and give us a new coat of paint, essentially. So that's where we're at right now. Lots to do, lots to build towards as we approach a new month. We've got some storylines in place, but we need to add a lot more. Preliminary card for Road Rager. Omega, Danielson, Starks and Lee, FTR, House of Black again. Andrade needs an opponent. Jade needs an opponent. We've got the 4-way for the number 1 contendership, and we might do the trios title match on that card as well. That's kind of what we've got going for at the moment. Definitely we could add 1 or 2 more matches to that. But it's shaping up to be a pretty solid card. I mean, at the end of the day, you've got Omega and Danielson. That's going to be huge on its own. So that will sell the pay-per-view anyways. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching this edition of Total Extreme Wrestling. Look, we've done a couple of years now of the save, over 100 episodes, but I'm still enjoying it. Hope you guys are too. We're going to keep on going with it. And thanks so much for supporting the channel. I appreciate it. And look, Road Rager is our next pay-per-view. We're going to build towards it, and hopefully we have a successful one. We need a rebound. Double or Nothing wasn't great, so let's try and turn it around a little bit. Thanks guys for watching. We'll see you in the next one.